Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Stautar Satashi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nitlirva Vishnu Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Stautar Satashi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari 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 Gaur. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam devang saraswating vyasam tato jayam udirayet nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityang bhagavata sevaya bhagavat yuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Brahma's Prayers to Lord Krishna, text number 19. Ajanitang tvang padaving anatmani atmatmana basi vitatyamayayam Srishta vivahang jagato vihana Ivatvam eshonta ivatrinetra Ajanitang tvat padaving anatmani Atmatmana basi vitatyamayam Srishta ivahang jagato vihana Ivatvam eshonta ivatrinetra Ajanatang tvat padaving anatmani Atmanatmana basi vitatyamaya Srishta ivahang jagato vidhana Ivatvam eshonta ivatrinetra Attam padaving atmani Mataji's. Ajanatang, to persons who are in ignorance. Tatpadaving, of your transcendental position. Anatmani, in the material energy. Atma, yourself. Atmana, by yourself. Basi, appear. Vitatya, expanding. Mayam, your inconceivable energy. Srishtau, in the matter of creation. Iva, as if. Aham, I, Brahma. Jagata, of the universe. Vidhane, in the maintenance. Iva, as if. Tvam Esha, yourself. Ante, in the annihilation. Iva, as if. Trinetra, Lord Shiva. Translation and purport. By the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansion of your inconceivable energy. Thus, for the creation of the universe, you appear as me, Brahma. For its maintenance, you appear as yourself, Vishnu. And for its annihilation, you appear as Lord Trinetra, Shiva. Responsively? To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansions of your inconceivable energy. Thus, for the creation of the universe, you appear as me, Brahma. For its maintenance, you appear as yourself, Vishnu. And for its annihilation, you appear as Lord Trinetra, Shiva. Purport. Although the impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers think that the demigods are illusory, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu are stated here to be expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are thus real. Indeed, they are the extraordinarily powerful controllers of the universe. The ultimate truth is a supreme and beautiful person, and thus throughout the creation of God, we will always find the personal touch. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namaum Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarane. Hare Krishna. So here we're hearing Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, empowered, and he's expressing his appreciation of the Supreme Lord and how it is that people who are conditioned in this material world, meaning all of us, in this material world, we're covered by the darkness and ignorance of false ego, of a misconception or misidentification with the body to be our true self. Whereas we're eternal spiritual beings, Nahanya Tehanya Mane Sharire. The living entity is brilliant, eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge, and every living being has that spark. We are that eternal spiritual being. And we come from the spiritual world. There are many philosophers and many, many theories about what is the purpose and goal of life, who is God, and how to achieve that goal. But unfortunately, due to improper guidance, and again, without having this opportunity to hear from God, Krishna himself in the form of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna personally is speaking the absolute truth. Why? Because out of love and compassion. Krishna is a person. Everything has a personal touch. Sometimes people, they ask, why was the material world created in the first place? As we heard yesterday, that this material existence is here to facilitate all the living entities' desires. Because Krishna has unlimited spiritual desires, and we hear how in Vrindavan he has a loving relationship with Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, how he has a relationship with all his cowherd friends. He plays like a little child, bewilders Lord Brahma to the point of Brahma thinking, how can this be the Supreme Lord, the creator of everything, the one who's emanating all the universes from the pores of his skin, unlimited millions, billions, trillions of universes are manifesting, so many planets, so many luminaries. Why? Why all this is coming? Because Krishna is unlimited. Our ability to try to understand by mental speculation, by our own efforts, or by following the teachings of so-called scientists or learned professors or books of knowledge, of philosophy, psychology, creation, or Darwin's speculations. So all these are very good, they call futile attempts. There's no real progress being made. But the material world is like that. Just like the illusion in the desert that you're thirsty, isn't it? The sun is beating down. You're in a desert and you want water. So this is the whole idea that we want happiness in this world. Everyone's looking for happiness. And we're thinking that my happiness is that if I can gratify my senses, I'll be happy. If I become very wealthy, I'll be happy. if I have a good partner and children and many, many possessions, I'll be happy. But unfortunately, everyone who's embodied, that's all of us, it's an amalgamation of material elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. It's molded to have this body. Here it is, a demigod body, human body, animal body. And it's not only that humans are attracted by this desire for love and attraction, just like a boy is dedicated to a young girl is dedicated to a boy, because that natural attraction is a reflection of Krishna's true love, not in the mundane concept, just like we hear about how Krishna is having loving affairs with the gopis, or even the wives of the brahmanas who are performing sacrifices. Not in the concept that we might think, like in this material world, ultimately it leads to frustration and agitation, but real love from the heart, real excitement. So this is going on in the spiritual world. Krishna has a personal relationship with everyone. And there's different varieties in life, 8,400,000 varieties of species as described in the Vedic literature: aquatics, human beings, beasts, demigods, trees, a variety of animals, bugs. Every living entity is an eternal spirit soul and has a very unique relationship with Krishna. So Lord Brahma is seeing Krishna with all the cowherd boys sitting on the bank of the Jamuna. They're all taking their lunch together, having jokes, having fun. And so someone might think, how is this God? A little cowherd boy? In the same way, we'll hear how Lord Indra was being baffled. Soon Govardhan Leela's coming, when all the cowherd men and various people are making offerings to the demigods, because, and Lord Krishna is asking, is this a ritual or just some kind of folk, some kind of tradition that you're following to worship the demigods? Because Krishna did not like that his especially pure devotees are giving so much significance to the worship of the demigod. And Krishna gave some philosophy that based on your good karma, if you do good work, then nature is duty-bound to give you all your necessities because you did your good work. If you do bad work, you're going to suffer. This Mamangsa philosophy. But he convinced Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd boys that no, you should worship Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan is providing all your necessities, and the Lord manifested himself as Govardhan. So Krishna's appearing in this world repeatedly. After creating the material world, there are scheduled times of his incarnations. In Bhagavad-Gita, there's a description that in one day of Brahma, the Lord ascends. But that's millions and millions of years. That's a long, long time. So the time came, very coincidentally, that the Supreme Lord's time to incarnate as Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. All the constellations, the stars, everything became arranged in such an auspicious way. And Krishna, there's so many incarnations: Lord Vamana, Matsya, Kurma, Lord Nrsimha, Narayan, Vishnu. Unlimited Vaikunthas are there. Unlimited spiritual forms of the Lord are manifest. And they all came together in the form of Lord Krishna. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. The supreme, original personality of God himself appeared 5,000 years ago to reestablish religious principles and to give love to his devotees. And so he personally exhibited by his behavior the love between Mother Yashoda and the cowherd boys and all the various residents of Vrindavan is very special, because it's like a replica of what goes on in the spiritual world. But those who are covered by the ego, by envy, jealousy, and all the desire for personal gratification, we might think that, oh, I'm religious, I go to church or I go to temple, and I give my tidings, you know, we do our mantras, we do our nice activities. This is good, it's a start. But here Krishna is saying in Bhagavad-Gita, after arranging for the battle of Kurukshetra to kill the demoniac kings who are not Rajarshis, who are not giving guidance to the people in general, how to develop their love for God. Because of all the unlimited living beings, only in human form does one have the God-gifted intelligence to contemplate and ask, who am I? Why am I here in this world? How do I achieve eternal happiness? You know, what is my destination in life? If you ask people, what is your goal? I want to become a scientist. I want to become an astronaut. I want to be, you know, I don't know what people feel. They think that this one lifetime is the all in all. That let me just live my life. I have my family. I have my identity as my nation. This bodily identification is like chasing the carrot, the donkey chasing the carrot in the desert until it dies. Because for one who's living in this material world and trying to enjoy gratification, the family is like a prison. And the mind and senses take full control of motivating us to perform various activities, how to become happy. That means working hard. I don't know if you've seen sometimes the horse or donkey who are working very hard. They have foam in the mouth. And even wealthy people, they sometimes eat very meagerly, a few dry bread chapatis. They have millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, but they're driven by this desire to accumulate wealth for me, for my children, my grandchildren, my country, my dynasty. So all this illusion, but unfortunately, people have no hope because they're not either fortunate enough or desirous to hear the absolute truth. So Krishna appeared at a very unique time, but then again, it came time for the Lord's incarnation again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya, who is non-different, he's Krishna himself, appeared with Lord Nityananda. He sent Advaita Acharya, he sent Sachimata, he sent all the associates for his Sankirtan mission. So this is the blessing of Krishna, that in a mood of great compassion, seeing that this is a degraded age. We're living in what we call Kali Yuga. And we can see it. We can see the sufferings that are going on. Somebody was giving some historical reference. We think we have it bad, but somebody who was born in, say, 1900, then immediately came the First World War. Then there was a huge pandemic in 1920 that killed millions, 65 million people. They're all wearing masks like all of us. It's like a replica of what's going on now. And then the Second World War, then the Korean War, then the Vietnam War. So people, and then the Great Depression. So material world is a place of suffering. Dukkaliyam ashashvatam. It's a temporary place full of misery and full of suffering. Just like when you're being dunked in the water, if you're a prisoner, sometimes they bind someone and dunk him in the water till he cannot breathe. Then for a moment, they take him out of the water and he's gasping for air. He thinks, what happiness, what content, I'm so happy now. But the very next moment, again, he's dunked in the water. So we should see that this human life that we've been gifted with by Krishna is our chance, our opportunity to get out of the cycle of birth and death. We sing every morning, Sangsara Dava Nalalita Loka. It's like a forest fire. If you're stuck in a forest fire, you're going to burn. But the spiritual master, Lord Brahma is considered the original spiritual master. Of course, Krishna is the original spiritual master. Lord Nityananda and Balaram are the original spiritual master. So Krishna, he expands himself. Lord Balaram is Krishna. Srimati Radharani is Krishna. All the gopis are Krishna. So you think, well, Krishna, he's expanding himself and he's having relationships with himself. We're all little parts of Krishna. Like Krishna's the great fire, and all the sparks are emanating from the fire. So the spark is non-different than the fire. But we're tiny, but we have the same qualities as Krishna, not the same quantity. So when Krishna comes here, he exhibits pastimes, eternal pastimes, to attract us back to the spiritual kingdom, attract us to give up our ideas of false happiness, of a comfortable home, family. Not that we neglect, we engage the family in hearing about Krishna. We don't waste our time just reading the bunch of newspapers. As Prabhupada said, there was, especially years before the internet came, newspapers was a must. If you didn't get your morning newspaper, you felt like you felt really deprived. I need to know what is going on in the world. Birth, old age, disease, and death, and suffering. Usually, news rarely means good news. They want to know about how many people are dying in the massive shootings and the different struggle and suffering and the disease of material existence. But we're not just speaking in a way to invoke fear, but that fear is there for everyone who's in darkness. If you're in a dark room and you see something on the ground that looks like a snake, a venomous snake, naturally fear will arise. But if the light is turned on, you see, just a rope, then the fear dissipated. The fear is gone, because although snake does exist, a rope exists, but because of being in darkness, you misunderstand the object. So living in ignorance, Om Ajnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We're praying to the spiritual master. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. Doesn't matter if you were Einstein or a great, great professor with hundreds of PhDs. When you're dead, you're packed into the womb again. You come out again, depending on your karma. You might have good fortune to be born in a good family, a Brahmana family, but still that ignorance is covering us. That lust, anger, greed, all these are perverted reflections of our pure love of God mixed within this material world. Like when the rain is coming, it's very clear, very transparent. But when it hits the ground, the mud, it's muddied. So our mind and intelligence has become muddied, dirty, due to association with the modes of material nature, with trying to satisfy our desires without proper guidance. Just like if you're a diseased person and you go to the medical shop and you think, well, this is a nice looking pill box, that one looks, and start taking randomly without guidance or knowledge a variety of medicines, you're not going to help yourself get better. You'll probably kill yourself much quicker. So the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, is empowered by the entire Guru Parampara. Who else? I mean, who knows Sanskrit to the point where they're going to study all the revealed scriptures? As the Goswamis, less than 500 years ago, the top individuals are scrutinizingly studying all the religions, the scriptures, the books of philosophy and self-realization, and boiling them down to a very nice burfi, meaning the essence of all knowledge, the essence of all philosophy, psychology, the pursuit of self-realization, and giving it in such a way, understanding the temperament, the mentality of the people, the time, place, and circumstance is very important. Srila Prabhupada arrived in America, and just observing the landscape, observing the people when he was first in Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania, They were inviting educated persons, and Prabhupada was examining, was feeling out, as they say, or understanding the mentality of the persons during that time, place, and circumstance. Not that he changed the philosophy, he gave the philosophy very, very direct, as it was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was given by Krishna himself in the form of Vyasadeva, Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the Vedic literatures. They call this Amala Purana, the essence of all scripture, the essence of all teachings. I know religionists around the world like to believe that, oh, my religion's the best. But real religion means developing our love for God. So scientifically, philosophically, in a scholarly way, for those who are wanting to see that, well, how do we know that Krishna consciousness is for real? Or, how do we really know that we're not being misled or blindly following some charismatic leader who's telling us to chant Hare Krishna? So Prabhupada, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, use your logic, use your reason. So apply yourself in this way. Don't waste your time reading the newspaper or hearing about all the worldly activities about the temporary, ignorant, conditioned souls. We have limited energy and limited time in this bodily existence. So if we utilize our head to bow down to the Lord, our legs to carry us to the temple when it's not in lockdown, our hands to dress the deities and make offerings to the Lord, or play the mridanga, kartals, our voice to sing the glories of Krishna, Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna's personally present in his sound vibration. So we are the most fortunate. Just like Lord Brahma was feeling, oh, Nanda Maharaj is so fortunate. Mother Yashoda, the cowherd boys, all the residents of Vrindavan are so fortunate that you've taken birth in this Brajabhumi, Vrindavan Dham. And so Brahma did not feel even qualified to take birth. He may be somewhere on the outside, a lump of grass. Maybe the devotees will step on me and I'll be benefited by the... So you could see the depth of appreciation that Lord Brahma was having for Krishna and his associates, and how much glorification. The whole chapter, Lord Brahma is glorifying Krishna's magnanimous power. What did Arjuna say? Parang Brahma, Parang Dhamma, Pavitrang, Paramang Bhavam, Purushang, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidev, Majam, Vibhum. He's glorifying Krishna. You're the supreme personality. You're the origin of everything. So this is the point, that every page of Srimad Bhagavatam is a medicine that'll help us take that darkness, that ignorance, that covering. Just like the cloud, you cannot see the sun. When the cloud disperses, the sun shines through. So this eternal knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. We have a relationship with Krishna. He's a person. We're persons. And this loving relationship that everyone's looking for in this world, but being misguided by the temporary allurement of the senses and the mind and the false ego. How do we come to the point of reality and awakening our true spiritual ego? By hearing Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. It'll strengthen our ability to be regulated, because this is the very beginning of spiritual life. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam. That controlling the tongue, controlling the belly, the genitals, it all comes by a systematic process. Srila Prabhupada and the Goswamis have given us this deity worship, have given us cleansing the temple, making offerings to the Lord, taking the prasadam, the association of devotees, meaning that we're all together striving to awaken that love for Krishna. And it's something that you'll see within yourself, that by applying or following the method, it works. I've told this story before. In Miami, we had some nice book distributors, Dharma Prana and his good wife Karna from Chicago. They were some of the best big book distributors. So at that time, this is in the 70s, we were doing Back to Godhead magazines in the streets, airports, and various places, book distribution, because we want to also give this opportunity to the conditioned souls. So we didn't know how to start the big book distribution. So Dharma Prana gave a very nice class, and I said, well, do some role playing, and I recorded it. And by repeating the same mantras in the same mood, I saw, wow, it works. People are taking books. And it just seemed that if we very carefully listen to Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, if we genuinely want to make spiritual advancement, you take shelter in the ashram, take shelter of coming and being with the devotees, then you'll see that the effect of chanting Krishna's name, the effect of hearing this Vedic literature will give you that enthusiasm that's required and the determination that we need, that yes, I'll go to Mangal Arati. It takes determination, because then sometimes, it's getting late, that's okay, I'll get up. And you need determination to follow the regulative principles, to get up early for the Mangal Arati, worship the deities, worship the Guru, worship Srimati Tulsi Devi, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear the Bhagavatam class in the association of devotees. These are all very, very powerful methods. It's not just somebody's concocted ideas. This is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. This is how you remember Krishna, by hearing, chanting, and following the order of our spiritual master. And what pleases our spiritual master most is that we become Krishna conscious. And the way to become Krishna conscious is us seriously chanting Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And be determined. Start from beginning of Bhagavatam and read out loud, hear it, go through it. Beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, beginning of Bhagavad-Gita. Take it as a serious project, and then Krishna will give us that power. Krishna will give us the intelligence. Sarvasya chahang hridisana vishto matat smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Krishna is in every atom of the universe. Everything is manifested. He is the universes. He's the planets and the air in between. But also in the form of Paramatma, He's in our heart. And He's the witness. Just like if somebody's acting nicely, you're witnessing. If somebody's acting in a bad way, we're witnessing. But if we have that desire, Krishna gives the intelligence to remember Him. But if we want to stay in the illusion of the material world, Krishna allows that. Yes, you are that body. This is your family. This is your nation. Go fight. Everybody wants to fight for their nation, and you want to work hard your whole life. I need to take care of my family. We do need to take care of family. But our real family is Krishna in the spiritual kingdom. Vrindavan. Now you're home. This is your home. Prabhupada, how many places has said, go back home, back to Godhead. You could do it in one lifetime. When we see all that dirt, you think, oh, so much dirt to clean up. How am I going to get rid of all that, all the desires and my inabilities, my handicaps? Just think of Krishnadas Kaviraj, who was told by Lord Nityananda that you leave your home now. There was some disagreement because of disrespect to Lord Nityananda ultimately. And you go to Vrindavan. And so Krishnadas Kaviraj was saying, but I'm old, my hands are shaking, I can't see, I can't read, I can't hear properly. But he was given the task of writing the most glorious spiritual literature, Chaitanya Charitamrita, about the magnificent pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, the most merciful incarnation of Krishna and Balaram, and the Sankirtan mission, and also the confidential reasons why the Lord appeared to try to understand that Krishna has great love for Srimati Radharani, but her love for Krishna is a million times more. So Krishna's trying to figure out why does Radharani love me, or all the gopis? So Krishna, it's a more confidential reason, appears to start to initiate the religion or the process of the Nam Sankirtan, the chanting of the Lord's holy name, and also to, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, to experience what is this unique love that she's experiencing for Krishna, because Krishna could not, in the male body, experience what is that. So even though he was, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had the sentiment of Srimati Radharani. So we're not jumping or imitating, but we have to understand that the pleasures of this world are very temporary and they're fleeting. They'll be gone. Your wealth will be gone, your family will be gone, your reputation, everything will be finished. You go outside, a rickshaw crushes you. I don't think those rickshaw drivers have licenses, okay? But it's a very, very dangerous place. There's danger at every step in this world. You could even slip on a banana peel and break your neck, okay? So we're not saying, but everyone goes through the whole process of birth, growth, development, maturity, reproduction, dwindling, and then vanishing, death. Death for the covering, for the soul is eternal, ever existing. So we need to focus on the developing that soul, the consciousness. It's already developed, but uncovering it by chanting and hearing in the association of devotees. So we'll hear more prayers. Lord Brahma is just exposing the ignorance of the conditioned souls and glorifying that Krishna, he's real. The demigods are real. The planets, everything that's, we can in our own way try to negate, oh, it's all just by chance happening. That's such a childish and foolish conclusion when you see the complexities even of our own material body, what to speak of how the universe is functioning and the seasonal changes and the varieties of development and growth and the personal touch that Krishna's giving everything with such minute detail. Every flower, every fruit, everything that's produced by the Lord has so much variety and so much thought process. It's all personal. So we should have full faith. Strengthen the faith. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We have a few minutes for question. Pritu Prabhu.
So, as you said, there is no solution to the problems of the world, because ultimately they're created by Maya. And the only thing, we know that, the only solution to the suffering of the material world is to chant the holy name. There's an example that Prabhupada, one time, he was asked by an Indian man, Swamiji, can you read my hands? And Prabhupada said, yes.
Can you read my hand?
Yeah, can you read my hands? And Prabhupada said, yes, give me your hand. Hold the microphone. Okay. Prabhupada looked at his hand and said, all bad.
All bad.
Man said, Swamiji, what do you see in my hand? Prabhupada said, I see Janma Mritu Jara Vyadi. Old age, disease, and death in your hand.
What does he see?
Huh?
What does he see?
Old age, disease, and death.
Oh, old age, disease, and death.
And then Prabhupada said, but if you take your hands front of the deities, and all your lines will change. And that's the truth, the simple truth. Prabhupada said in such simple ways. He explains, gives the whole Siddhanta. And if you just clap our hands in front of the deity, all the lines will change. Whatever, everything will change simply by this process of hearing and chanting.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
Right. Yes, Prabhuji. That was a good one, Preetu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for such a nice class. Whenever we read or hear the prayers of great devotees like Lord Brahma, there's always three things which I observed. One is appreciation, and second is asking forgiveness, and third is asking something. So for me, like, the last two things are easy, asking forgiveness because it's for my benefit, and asking something again is easy. But appreciation is very difficult, like how to appreciate Lord in a right spirit, because I mean He's already Lord. So how, matlab, it feels like buttering when we are appreciating the Lord. I don't know. It's like how to appreciate the Lord and the devotees. It's very difficult how to do that.
So Prabhuji is giving the example that we hear a lot of prayers, and generally in our prayers, we're appreciating the Lord, and sometimes asking for forgiveness for not fully appreciating, and then sometimes asking that maybe it can take birth as a clump of grass, but there are many examples of Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, that although there may have been some apparent desire in the beginning, they were fully satisfied by being with Krishna, but generally the devotees or the prayers end up with a mood of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So to either get how can people get the association of devotees? How can we free the suffering of others? Because naturally, a devotee becomes compassionate. So the prayers are beautiful, and they're not like motivated. Well, now that I prayed to you, can I get my Mercedes Benz now, and can I get my fill up my bank account? By the way, I'll send you the routing number of my bank account. You could maybe fluff it up a little bit. But appreciation and gratitude will come the more and more we see how we're tiny little servants. This is our constitutional position. We're servants of the Lord, but a very intimate, loving way. It's not like a slavery or being in a degraded position. Oh, I'm a servant. But it's in a very blissful, Krishna, out of love for every single living entity, he feels obligated to come again and again and again and give his teachings again and again, send his representatives again and again. And then all the apparently pure devotees who are in relation to Krishna may appear to be covered and awakened to Krishna consciousness, and then beautiful prayers are emanating. So the more we hear these prayers, the more our appreciation will grow. And we'll see that the end result is that we just want to serve Krishna in a pure-hearted way and give others an opportunity to serve Krishna out of love and compassion. Makes Krishna happy. Anyone else? Oh yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As you were saying, Prabhupada said that we have to go back home, back to Godhead. So everyone who is practicing in Krishna consciousness, that is guaranteed they will go back home, back to Godhead.
Anyone who's practicing Krishna consciousness? Yes, Krishna consciousness means that you're actually awakening your love for Krishna. Then you go back home, back to the spiritual kingdom. But it's not a cheap process. Like if you want to accomplish anything in this world, it takes sacrifice. It takes determination, enthusiasm. You need to follow a teacher, guidance. So being Krishna conscious means that I've awakened my understanding. I'm a servant of the Lord, and you actually get a taste. You relish hearing about Krishna. You relish sitting with the devotees and more and more. I want to hear more and more. You have to be very advanced to sit and listen and hear the Lord's pastime, or to chant the holy name like Haridas Thakur and many great Vaishnavas. Not that we can imitate, but being Krishna conscious, you go back home, back to the spiritual kingdom. That's the ultimate objective. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Going back to Godhead ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.